in Sweden. In case you're wondering, I'm not Swedish originally. I'm from Canada. I've been living in Sweden for 15 years, and I've been working with Hagstrom, I guess, for a bit over 4 years now.
Craig 他是加拿大人，他曾经在瑞典做过15年，那他现在在 Hagstrom 工作大概5年。
That's good. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I'm the general manager of Hagstrom. So basically, I'm involved in. Well, I guess what am I not involved in? I'm basically running the company, but I'm also involved in the production and also with the design of the guitars as well.
他现在是担任总经理的职务，那他负责的包括整个工厂的生产、制造，然后设计，然后包括包括一些 marketing 的东西，也都是他在负责，所以他几乎是这间公司他算是非常重要的一个角色。
Yeah. Anyway, so I'll just give you guys a presentation just regarding what Hagstrom is. It's you know, a little bit in-depth information, maybe points that you guys don't know, but I'll just give you a little bit more information about the Hagstrom brand.
今天就是要介绍一下 Hagstrom 这个牌子。那可能等一下到一些产品的部分会讲一些比较深入的一些产品的特色，甚至产品的一些制造的过程。
And if also, if anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to ask right when I'm talking. That's okay. No problem.
就是大家可以轻松点，如果有问题就会直接提出，没关系。
Okay. Anyway, so there you have Hagstrom. The headstock that you guys know. Actually, I'll say a little bit about the Hagstrom was first came in the 1950s, and during that time, there was a big Art Deco movement. And so the design of the headstock and the tuning pegs are actually Art Deco. It's actually an art type, and actually this whole is a representation of that Art Deco period, and basically is from that era. So that's where that headstock, the whole design comes from.
Hagstrom 是1950年的开始的一个品牌。那在那一个时期，1950年代的时候，他们在一些艺术跟设计这个领域是在那个时期是非常盛行的。那这个琴头的设计，就是在那种艺术盛行的时代时候所创造出来的一个头型。所以你看到这个头型其实跟一般的其他的头型会有点不一样，包括 tuner 的那个形状也都是他们特别设计。
So basically, yeah, I can actually probably. So this is Alvin Hagstrom. He died in 1952, but he's the founder of the company, where he actually first started importing German accordions to Sweden. And basically he registered the Hagstrom brand name in 1925.
Hagstrom 这名字其实一开始是从1925年开始，那一开始他们是做手风琴，对，那就是有这位 Alvin Hagstrom 他是创始人。
Yeah. So, yeah, as I said, so basically he started out importing accordions, and then he decided that he'd actually start manufacturing accordions. So in Sweden, he started a factory just making these old accordions for the Swedish market.
一开始他只是进口一些手风琴，那就是他在1925年的时候开始有一间制造手风琴的工厂。
So during that time in North America and all over Europe, accordions, that was the instrument to have. I mean, pianos were very big, but also accordions, because they were portable, they were very, very popular instruments to have. So that market at that time for accordions was very big.
在那时期，北美跟欧洲的这几个区域，除了钢琴虽然是很受欢迎，但是在佛罗迪，因为它是可携带式的，所以在那个时候也是非常盛行。
So basically, everything was going great. They had, they were one of the biggest accordion manufacturers in Europe. And then in 1958, they decided to stop because the accordion sales went way down because something called rock and roll appeared to the music world, I guess I could say. So they stopped making accordions and basically overnight started making electric guitars.
就是一直到1958年的时候，他们就开始停止生产的手风琴，因为那时候开始摇滚乐开始盛行，然后他们几乎就是昨天在做手风琴，今天就在做电吉他，然后后来就转到做电吉他。
So basically, I started guitar production in 1958, and these are the few of the people at that time that basically in the 1960s and 70s that helped to get Hagstrom on the international map. So all these players, ZZ Top, bass player with Jimi Hendrix, Brian Ferry, David Bowie, and Frank Zappa. These are very well-known players from that era about 30, 40 years ago. Well, 40 years ago. That were very famous people that had basically helped to make Hagstrom a very famous brand around the world.
就是在那个摇滚乐非常盛行，大概是50至60年代，包括 ZZ Top， 然后右边的金汉学的吉他手，然后 Brian Ferry、David Bowie、Frank Zappa， 这几个都是在摇滚乐非常盛行时代非常有名的乐手，那他们都使用 Hagstrom。
Sorry. One of the most famous people that actually Elvis Presley played on his 1968 comeback tour. He actually played Hagstrom Viking, and that really, I think, really put Hagstrom on the map because Elvis Presley returned to the music world after taking a break and was playing Hagstrom during that famous concert that was televised. And so that's really been a huge stepping stone for Hagstrom back in 1968.
Elvis Presley 就是猫王，然后他在1968年，猫王他其实要留在1950年，后来在1968年之后复出的时候，他那个时候拿的就是 Hagstrom， 所以在1968年那一个时期，Hagstrom 这个品牌是非常盛行。
Yep. So today, I'll just give you a little bit of information. Hagstrom, the Swedish company, where originally had guitars produced in China, sorry, not China, in Sweden, had closed down in 1983. So, no problem.
在1983年，因为他们 Hagstrom 一开始都是瑞典制的电吉他，但在1983年之后，他们把工厂关了，因为音乐比赛，那开始就是把工厂转移到大陆。
So basically, the reason why they shut down is that they had a lot of competition from the Asian market. The prices, prices in Sweden were getting too expensive to manufacture there, and there was so much competition from Asia. That's the reason why they decided to shut down.
就大概在80年代的时候，开始大陆开始设很多的吉他工厂，所以他们竞争力就比较没有那么有竞争力，他们就把工厂关了。
So basically, Tricor, the company I'm working with, that we're responsible for Hagstrom internationally, we started in 2003 after talks with the Hagstrom family that we run the Hagstrom brand today. So we're responsible for the Hagstrom brand. As the Hagstrom family has been working in the music industry for around 30 years, they're not so, they don't know exactly, they're not up to date regarding what's going on, so we run the company.
就从1983年他们关厂之后到大概2003年这一段期间，因为他们都没有在接触工厂的部分。那有一个国际非常大的一个乐器的，算是类似像我们中学生一样的集团，他们把这个公司买下来，然后就跟 Hagstrom 这个家族成功的再让 Hagstrom 的品牌再次复出。
Yeah. So today, basically, I mean, we have our main production at our factory in China, and so also what's very important is that this factory only produces Hagstrom guitars, which is extremely rare in the music industry today, especially in Asia.
其实这间工厂很特别，是因为大陆还蛮多工厂就是做 OEM 的嘛，它可能帮好几个牌子 OEM， 但是这个工厂它是只做 Hagstrom， 它只帮 Hagstrom 做，它不会比如说它规格搞错啊、颜色喷错啊什么一些相关大陆产品的一些问题。
So actually, just recently, we've actually started a secondary factory, basically making the same models we make in China, due to the fact that we have such a huge demand internationally.
因为他们的在国际上的算是卖得很好，所以他们有点供不应求，他们已经在找第二间工厂在大陆。
Yeah, we use CNC machinery at the factory, but we also there's a lot of the guitar portions of the guitar manufacturing part where a lot of the work is actually done by hand.
他们其他大部分的一些外观啊，就其实都是用 CNC 的机器，就是自动化的机器，但它也很多部分就是用手工来制造。
We're very fussy with all the parts that we use, from woods to woods, pickups, all hardware. We're extremely particular about what exactly we're using in production for every stage of the game. So it paints all the parts. So yeah, so basically we have very strict specifications how an instrument should be built.
他们在乐器的各个细节、各个零件的部分，他们都是非常非常严格的，所以他们不会就是包括一些 hardware 啊这些，他们都是会非常谨慎去做组装跟制造。
Yeah, so we just got a few pictures here. We can have our an image of the CNC machine that we use. We mostly use it for bodies. We have basically we can produce 4 at one time. We can produce quite a few in a day, but we don't. It's not running 24/7. But we have CNC machines, and there's a picture of a girl doing some sanding on the back of a suite.
像琴声的部分的整个外形的切割都是用这种自动化 CNC 的机器来制造。那其他这些在抛光处理的部分都是用手工。
Yeah. So as you can see, there's installation, the binding, everything. There's a lot of steps that are done by hand, and most importantly, a lot of dealers and end users, or say musicians, don't quite understand production, so they think that everything is made by machines. But it's very important for people to know that a lot of steps in production aren't done by hand, which is we like to tell people because it gives people the impression that every guitar is custom made. We make everything to order. We don't have a huge warehouse, but every guitar is basically made to order and is mainly produced by hand.
像这种其他的镶边，他们就是用手工来处理。那其实蛮多的消费者会觉得，现在的吉他是不是都是用 CNC 机器，全部都是自动化设备来制造？但是事实上是，他们在很多的部分都是在用手工制造，所以在这个部分的话，其实是很多的细节会做得比一般的那种全自动化设备通常来得好。
Anyways, there's just some images here. There's some base bodies waiting. Those steps of production. The installation of H-expander truss rods. Painting of a painting section here. And just some XO5 bodies, some nice little dust images there. But
像他们在装，他们的铁芯叫 Hagstrom， 是比较特殊的铁芯，也是用手工。那另外在喷漆部分也是用人工在喷漆的。那 XL 这个型号的 body 的外形也是用手工去的。
So, yeah, the main question is, what makes Hagstrom different than other brands in the market?
大家应该都问说，那这个牌子它有什么特点？
The H-expander truss rod, as we saw in the image before with the guy installing that. This is something that Hagstrom's done since, I guess, day one, since 1958.
就是在1958年，他们第一天做电吉他的时候，就想出要用这个很特别的，叫做 H 型的铁芯。
So basically, we've picked up that we've made a few improvements to the truss rod after they've been using it for so many years. But the whole idea is that this allows us to create a neck that is stable, perfectly straight, and is nearly impossible to twist.
就是其实他们后来还是有大概在改良一下这个铁芯。那这个铁芯最主要的部分就是它会让你的琴颈非常的稳定，不会就是紧紧的，因为木头都会弯来弯去，受天气湿度的部分。那它装了铁芯之后，你的琴颈就会非常的稳定，那弹起来就会非常好。
Yeah. So also one thing that's very interesting is that because of this construction, you don't have to adjust the necks so often. Most guitar necks, you have to adjust them once every 6 months. I have guitars at home which I adjusted in 2007, and I still haven't had to adjust them today.
差不多，因为像他们用了这样的 H 型的铁芯，一般来说，其实我们常会门市遇到一个问题，就是什么打弦啊，弦率太高，所以几乎每把琴啊，比如说到琴颈嘛。那他们用这 H 型的铁芯，他说他们买他们的吉他几乎就是买回去都不用调，买回去到现在都没有调过，那整个琴颈的手感呢还是非常好。
Yeah. So